Today we face Barcelona 2010 against Real Madrid 2016. 5 artificial intelligences will decide, position by position, who was the most decisive player of each season. And here's the interesting part. Each position will have a value. The goalkeeper will add 1 point. Each defender will be worth 1 point. The midfielders will also contribute 1 point, and the forwards will be the most decisive, with 2 points each. In the end, the team that accumulates the most points will be crowned as the best. Let's go with the AI's decision. Let's start with the goalkeeper. Grok and DeepSeek agreed and voted for Keylor Navas. They said that while Valdés was a solid goalkeeper and key to Barca's build-up play, conceding only 21 goals in La Liga and keeping 17 clean sheets, Navas was absolutely decisive in securing the double. The Costa Rican was a wall in the Champions League, especially in crucial stages like the round of 16 against Napoli and the group stage. His shot stopping in extremely dangerous situations was superior to Valdés that season. ChatGPT and Gemini disagreed. They argued that Valdés was crucial for Barcelona in 2010, providing constant security and making decisive saves in big moments, like in the Champions League semifinal against Madrid and the final against Manchester United. While Keylor Navas had a great 2016 season and was important in winning the league and Champions League double, his performance in La Liga was more inconsistent, with some costly errors. Le Chat settled the dispute by voting for Victor Valdés. He takes the point in this matchup. Let's move on to the right back, Dani Alves versus Carvajal. ChatGPT said the best was Dani Alves. In 2010, Alves was an offensive and defensive machine. His partnership with Messi on the right flank was one of Barca's most lethal weapons, providing key assists and contributing to Guardiola's team's absolute control. Carvajal in 2016 was brilliant, especially in the Champions League, standing out in the final against Juventus with an assist to Cristiano, but Alves had a more consistent influence throughout the entire season, and was a vital piece in a team that dominated Europe. No AI disagreed. They all voted for Dani Alves, giving Barcelona another point. Now let's go to the center backs, Piqué versus Ramos. Grok and DeepSeek both voted for Sergio Ramos. Ramos had a stellar 2016 season, being Real Madrid's defensive leader and a decisive factor in key matches. He scored 7 goals in La Liga, including crucial goals like the equalizer in El Clasico against Barcelona, and he was vital in Madrid's Champions League triumph with his presence and leadership. ChatGPT and Le Chat voted for Gerard Piqué. They said that in 2010, Piqué had one of his best seasons, being a defensive leader, dominant in the air, and clean in playing out from the back. His performance in the Champions League final against United was superb. They added that Piqué was more consistent and decisive. The decision came down to Gemini, who voted for Sergio Ramos. He wins this duel and adds a point for Real Madrid. Let's move on to the second center-back duel, Varane versus Puyol. Le Chat said Carles Puyol. Although Puyol in 2010 was affected by injuries and didn't play as much as in other seasons, his leadership and presence in key matches like the Champions League final made the difference. Varane in 2016 was important in the Champions League, but he was still in Ramos's shadow. Puyol's authority and ability to step up in big moments made his season, even with fewer minutes, way more in the comparison. That's what Le Chat said. ChatGPT also voted for Puyol, followed by Grok, Gemini, and DeepSeek. And with that, Puyol adds a point for Barcelona. We continue with the left back, Eric Abidal versus Marcelo. Le Chat said Marcelo. He had a spectacular 2016 season, being one of the best left backs in the world. He actively contributed to Madrid's attack, providing assists, dribbling, and flair. In the Champions League, he was key with his runs and creativity, especially in knockout matches. Eric Abidal in 2010 was a solid and tactically flawless defender for Barcelona, but his offensive contribution was limited. Marcelo, with his impact on both ends of the pitch and his ability to constantly create danger, surpasses Abidal in this comparison. All the AIs agreed. Marcelo wins the duel and adds a point for Madrid. We move on to the midfield, and the first battle is Busquets versus Casemiro. Le Chat said Sergio Busquets. He was the perfect anchor for Barcelona in 2010, dominating the midfield with his tactical intelligence, passing precision, and ability to win the ball back without committing fouls. His role was essential in Guardiola's possession system, contributing to the La Liga and Champions League double. Casemiro in 2016 was crucial for Real Madrid, with 4 goals and 2 assists in La Liga, standing out for his defensive intensity and key goals, like in the Champions League final. However, Busquets had a more consistent impact on the team's structure and a superior technical level and distribution, giving him the edge. And it was total consensus. All the AIs voted for him. Busquets adds a point for Barcelona. The next duel is Xavi versus Luka Modrić, and Grok voted for Xavi Hernandez. Xavi in 2010 was at the peak of his career, being the brain of the best team in the world. His ability to dictate the tempo of the match, his vision, and his passing accuracy were legendary. He led Barcelona to their 3rd Champions League in 6 years with a masterclass performance in midfield. Luka Modrić in 2016 was an extraordinary midfielder with elegance and sublime ball control. But the level of dominance and control Xavi displayed over the game in that specific season was unmatched. And yes, once again, total consensus. Xavi takes the point for Barcelona. We continue with the final midfield battle, Andrés Iniesta versus Toni Kroos. For Deep Seek, the answer was clear, Andrés Iniesta. He had a magnificent 2010 season, being the creative soul of Barcelona with 8 goals and 11 assists in La Liga. His ability to break lines with dribbles, key passes, and goals in decisive moments made the difference. Toni Kroos in 2016 was the metronome for Real Madrid, with 3 goals and 12 assists in La Liga, standing out for his precision, a 92% passing accuracy, and his control of the game. Although Kroos was vital in the Champions League, Iniesta had a more direct impact on creating offensive plays and greater influence in big matches, giving him the edge. The rest of the AIs also voted for him. Iniesta secures another point for Barcelona. And now we move on to the attack. We start with the right winger, Pedro versus Gareth Bale. Grok went with Pedro. Pedro Rodriguez had an outstanding 2010 season, scoring 13 goals and providing 7 assists in La Liga, while also being crucial in the Champions League with 4 goals. His tireless work rate, versatility, and ability to deliver in key moments made him indispensable in Guardiola's system. Although Bale had brilliant moments, his inconsistency and lower overall contribution contrasted with Pedro's consistency and productivity. But Gemini disagreed and voted for Bale. It argued that, while Pedro had an excellent season, Gareth Bale's influence and impact during the 2016 season were superior when he was fit. Bale scored crucial goals, and his speed and power were lethal weapons. However, his season was plagued by injuries, limiting his regular participation. Still, his ability to change a match on his own outweighed Pedro's contribution, which lacked that same individual impact. All the AIs ended up agreeing and voted for Gareth Bale, adding 2 points for Real Madrid. Next, we move to the left wing. Cristiano Ronaldo versus David Villa. Le Chat went with Cristiano Ronaldo. It argued that he proved to be the most lethal player on the biggest nights. Ronaldo scored decisive goals in the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the Champions League final, finishing as the competition's top scorer and the key pillar in Real Madrid's historic double. His shift into a more central role made him more effective than ever. David Villa, in his first season with Barcelona, was excellent, scoring 23 goals and becoming a crucial partner for Messi. But the significance of Ronaldo's goals in decisive moments and his overall impact across the season put him a level above. And none of the other AIs disagreed. Cristiano Ronaldo takes the duel and adds 2 more points for Real Madrid. And now for the final duel, Messi versus Benzema. And yes, Grok voted for Lionel Messi. He had a historic 2010 season, scoring 31 goals and providing 18 assists in La Liga, along with 12 goals in the Champions League, including 1 in the final against Manchester United. His ability to dribble, create, and finish was unmatched, leading Barcelona to the double. Karim Benzema, in 2016, had a great season with 10 goals and 5 assists in La Liga, serving as a key facilitator for Real Madrid. But his numbers and overall impact in decisive matches simply couldn't reach Messi's stratospheric level, as the Argentine dominated across all competitions. All the AIs shared the same opinion. So Lionel Messi adds 2 more points, leaving the final result at 8-6 in favor of Barcelona. What do you think of the outcome? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit the like button, and we'll see you in the next one with More Than Football.